Good day. This is Speak On It. A series is running, Retro Current Team Who, we help out. But in collaboration with the Westside Heroin Opioid Task Force, a task force that was created in conjunction with many partners in LaShawn Ford's district a couple of years ago to address the problems of heroin and opioids. They say in his district, I say he's concerned about it anywhere because he knows that people travel and people are dying and flopping around like dolphins all over the city, but some of them might live in his district. So when I speak about the Westside Heroin Opioid Task Force, I'm speaking about LaShawn Ford's group of partners that are participating in raising awareness. That's what I'm doing. Me and Austin Voice working hand in glove to do our little bit because we both was over there in his district. And the objective is to save lives. And if you see something in your house, in your community, and you know that that person could benefit from Narcan or Proxone, that's the antidote for opioids, you need to contact the Westside Heroin Opioid Task Force, and they can definitely hook you up with some resources and very likely train you and give you a small supply of Narcan just in case you need it. Now we're going to start this program off today with two examples of why LaShawn Ford created the Westside Heroin Opioid Task Force. This first piece is really left up to Brother Amari, whether or not you hear the volume, the audio I should say. Personally, I don't see nothing wrong with it because of the fact that I hear stuff like that on social media, in people's houses, off their porches, out of their cars, all over the streets all the time, and that's just the normal way of people talking. But if you are not comfortable with it, I will do a narration, and I hope that you are mature enough to hear this, because you will see something in this where there is somebody, some spectator, that is intervening.
Come check on your peoples, whoever. What? He acting crazy.
You just acting like a fish, shorty.
Lord! Y'all, hey, somebody gotta check on their peoples, boy. Shorty! Shorty! Call 911, Lord! Ooh! Ooh! Shit! Hey, somebody, come on, let's help him, Lord. Let's help him, Lord. Let's help him. Let's help him. Hey! No! Hey, I'm not fucking this stuff up. On the real. Lord, you don't hurt yourself, T. Hey, Joe. This shit ain't funny, Lord. On Neil. On the fan. Man, call the ambulance, Lord.
On there, motherfucker.
On the fan.
Boring this shit, man.
Yeah. Call the ambulance. Be cool, bro. Be cool. Be cool. Be cool. Be cool. Be cool. Be cool, man. Damn. Be cool. He fucking himself up. Be cool. You gonna be alright. You gonna be alright, man. Come on. Call the ambulance, man. Mama. Damn, man. You gonna be alright, bro. Be alright. Be cool. Be cool. Be cool, man. I got this weed on me, man.
Put it in your pocket.
No, it's in my hand right here.
Put it in your pocket, bro.
Hold him down, bro. Don't let him.
I got you, T.
Hey, Ninja, put this up. So I can put this up.
Ain't nobody got no wood.
Man, Joe. Yeah, he fucked himself up, man. Here come the ambulance, bro. You gonna be alright, bro. Damn, man. He must be off the L or something, man.
What?
Be alright. You gonna be cool, Lord.
What?
Be cool.
What?
You gonna be alright, bro.
What?
Come on now.
Huh? Huh?
They pulled up. You gonna be alright, bro. The ambulance here, man. They gonna help you. You need to slow down on that shit. That shit down there made you kill yourself, boy. Your ass flopping like a dolphin. Oh, Mike D, you tripping. No. My mama, he flying in the air, boy. No, he was off the L, man. He was about to kill himself out here, boy. I had to stop his ass on my baby. He said acting crazy. I see the ambulance helpers on the way now. I can talk now, you feel me? But yeah, man, that shit crazy as hell, man. Y'all, man, Joe, y'all know him? Where's people's at, man? He from over here? Man, y'all was just letting him do all that act, man.
I didn't see him to the shed.
Man, that nigga was gonna kill himself. He was flying in the air like a dolphin on my mama. That shit.
What happened though?
Man, he must have off some shit, man. He was flying in the air, jumping off the ground, fucking himself up, man.
Bloody as hell. I don't know if his head busted.
Yeah.
His head on the phone.
Man, Joe, he fucked himself up, man. He was he was doing everything. Damn. Man, he gonna get the panicking again. He's panicking or something.
Now, let me say this. I truly salute the person that was talking. For those of you that think the Negroes are just a bunch of nasty, vulgar mouth people, all right, we talk like that, you bastards. You stole our language. You stole our history. You stole our identity. So we talk the language we talk, and then you want to judge us, tell us what we can use and what we can't. That brother was talking in the language of his experience of what was going on right there. But what he worked out of was compassion. He's a street dude, but he stepped up as a man because he saw another man in need of his help. They do it all over this country. They do it all over Chicago. But you see, you know, a little social media, I'm glad you all allowed it to be posted so I could get hold of it. I'm thankful for that. Because when LaShawn Ford and I sit down with Mr. Cummins, he made it clear that he wanted people attention. He wanted to bring awareness for people to understand how serious it is. And y'all know they dying. Brother, let's look at this piece here. And last week we talked about this, but now I want you to hear it from the news people who's about a week late. And there's a video, but last week I was telling you that as I was standing on post on 63rd and Ashland, somebody walked up to me and told me that down the road on, I think it was 79th and Halstead, they was dropping like flies. Bodies was falling, and they was ODing. Some of them looked like they was dead. I don't know if they had Narcan or not. But at the end of the day, I did hear in this report that most of them seem like lived and survived it. That's why it's important that you have Narcan. Because people out here, and they getting caught up. Now apparently somebody was in the area distributing free dope. And these people bit the bait. And as a result of that, they was just like vulnerable, gullible fish. They got caught. And some of them might have not made it. But those that did, Be thankful for that. You need to contact West Side Heroin Opioid Task Force. I don't have the paper in front of me. You know how to do that. Just go online and say West Side Heroin Opioid Task Force. They'll tell you where it's at. Telephone number. It is what it is. But I don't know why that video is not saying what it needs to say, because it's actually a news report. But I guess somehow or another, somewhere or another, I don't know, I'm looking at this here. I know there's one there that it was one of those channels, I think it was channel 2. And they had the audio and they was telling folks what happened. But as it relates to this, what happened is what I just said. I wanted you to be able to see some of the background in that and be able to understand what people was experiencing. It seemed like we won't be able to do that, and I don't know what the hell happened here. Sometimes technology, I don't know, it'd be, play games, but whatever. Anyhow, that's talking about how those peoples over there was dropping like flies and bodies piling up because somebody passed out some dope, heroin that was corrupt. All right, we'll go on to something else.
Will you accept the result if Joe Biden wins?
No,
Under any circumstance?
no,
Why is that?
because it's lies and deceit and corruption.
I'll be down on my knees praying a lot harder.
Praying for Joe Biden's success or praying for 4 years from now replacing Joe Biden?
Praying for God to help us.
President Biden, that can't happen. I can't even think about that because he does not like America. He's a racist. Now, that's a racist. If you want to look at someone who despises the black man, the black woman, he looks out for himself. He's a crook. His son is a crook. He's a criminal.
What happens if Donald Trump loses? Do you have a fear for the country if Donald Trump? You're nodding your head. I'll go. Okay, you can. I'll ask both of you.
We actually have plans to move to Panama because it's a city, or it's a country that allows Americans to move there and to actually own firearms there. I mean, if they trust us enough to own firearms as, people with legal right to be in their country, it seems like a place that's not planning to do something terrible to their people.
But if he wins, it means the Democratic machine has won in some of the illegal tactics that the voter fraud. I think that if he loses, they come after all of us supporters.
I've actually considered leaving the country, moving to South America or something like that, if something like that happens. I've had neighbors that moved when Hillary was running against President Trump because he was convinced Hillary was going to win. He sold everything and moved to Panama. So I'm thinking, my ancestors did that back in the 1900s when they left Germany. So
I would hurt for my grandchildren. I'm in the last 2 minutes of the fourth quarter of life for me, and can't much happen to me in the meantime, but I hurt for my grandchildren and the people of America's children and grandchildren.
If in another world Joe Biden was to win, he'd be my president. Now, he wouldn't be the president, or he'd be the president. Let me correct that. Make sure you edit that. But he would not be the president that I chose, and but you have to live with it.
Joe Biden becomes president. What does that mean for you?
The world's going to hell in a handbasket. I'm sorry. The man is sad because they are propping him up. If you notice any of his speech or whatever, he can't even complete a sentence. And I'm sorry, his mind is starting to fade.
I'll accept the result. However, I don't think he's capable. I think, quite honestly, he's too mentally far gone. Any of the other candidates on the Democrat side, I don't know if they'd do a better job, but they definitely would be more mentally capable than him, which is just an unfortunate scenario.
I think it'll be devastating for the country because we'll start turning towards what their plan was when Clinton wanted to continue what Obama did. And thank God Trump came and stopped all that. But if Biden comes in, they're just going to go right back to that, and it's going to do the whole new world order thing. I mean, it's just going to be horrible.
Yeah. I think if somehow they rig the system and he wins, then I think that it'll make me more passionate about politics and definitely it will inspire me to keep being politically active.
And I told y'all that, we echo what we want to echo. See, we are not the only ones that got an opinion. There are other people that speak in their truth. But you say everything is fake news if it don't come out your mouth and it ain't what you want to hear. And if Negroes keep their head in the sand and their booty tooted to the foot, they're going to keep getting kicked in it. I don't care nothing about who you vote for, but the truth of the matter is this here. Don't think that everybody think like you do and that you're going to just make everybody else irrelevant because they don't use the source you use. I had some dude, and I don't read that garbage on Facebook, some comment, and he said, check your source. I wish I could have saw him so I could have slapped his damn tongue out. Who is you, sucker? Whatever source you using, that's what you chose. But just like you choose what you want, I choose what I want. And that's what we all do. But it don't mean that everybody else is wrong. What we need to understand is we better listen to as many different people as we can and as much information as we can, because come November the 3rd, it might not be just because you run in your mouth. Because one party has poisoned you against the other. If you don't get your butt out there and vote, and I don't know what Jesse White now doing, come sending me some damn thing about some electronic, some other mail voting. Now, I wasn't aware that you won't be allowed to go to your poll, because that's what I thought my senior citizen behind was going to do. But now you're going to send me some in the mail almost like it's a directive. What the hell? So maybe they ain't going to let senior citizens go to the library and vote because they think that we got COVID. That might be it. I'm just saying, y'all, if any of the rest of y'all done got them what I would call gangster threat intimidation notes about some mail ballot, and I don't want no damn mail ballot. I want to put mine, do mine, right there. You understand? And yeah, I'm sounding like this simply because of the fact that I truly don't appreciate that now the government is really getting off into dictating everything upright citizens do, but all of this garbage in the street where people are getting killed, used, riding, burning up the damn country, all of this is all right, but if a person want to do what they think is right, now you can't. And you hide behind social media, but we thought we had the First Amendment. I guess that's it, where you can run your mouth. But the people that got all of the craziness going on their car systems and all of this mess in the street, they truly got freedom of speech. But upright people don't have it. You can't use the word Negro. You better not say nigger. They done told you had to say the N word, but they can call you what they want to call you. You understand? They made you accept minority so they could give all of your stuff to somebody else. Now they got your stupid butt talking about black and brown. Brown ain't talking about no black. The way those Mexicans was rolling with them big old flags and big old trucks, Rams 1500s, Ford 150s. They done already probably got their cut of these damn recreational weed dispensaries. But they brown. They looking out for brown. I ain't seen no police out there trying to control them. I didn't see none of them acting too crazy. They just doing what they were doing. But what they had was a declaration of independence for their country, winning their independence. But here in America, in Chicago, it's a sanctuary city. But senior citizens here are not safe in their own neighborhood. And damn it, the mayor and the rest of y'all sit here and you don't understand that we need sanctuary too. After all, we are the descendants of slaves who were brought here against our will. But we better not walk down the street with 3 red, black, and green flags, or the police will take us and lock us up because they think we are militants. These folks got the whole city on shutdown with these big-ass flags that you can even see around them while you drive. And that's because, y'all, we have allowed ourselves to keep getting played. And we're going to give you an update in a minute from Ricky Hidden as it relates to how it's going with this cannabis thing. Now they move around and play with minority. They move around and play with black and brown. But when they end up, the brown ain't your Negro brown. The black ain't your Negro black. And those descendants that have died for you to have an opportunity to get your fair share, they look at you now and say, what's wrong? Got all these women in these top spots. But anytime a person give away their elected position to take a paid position, you need to know they ain't going to look out for your interest, the one that elected them. They're going to look out for the interest of the one that paying them. And that's what's happening with this cannabis thing. Oh yeah, I'm going like this here. Yes, I am. Because somebody need to tell you, because, it don't make sense. You done gave all of the license to these other folks that was already in the game, and now you want to give them all to another group that's in the game, and the rest of them, you don't want the Negro to have none. You talking about social equity. What in the hell is that? Now, I hope Ricky Hidden and LaShawn Ford and the rest of those working on this is successful. But then, Negroes, y'all need to wake up. Because come November the 3rd, whichever way it go, you're going to have a long time before you get back to normalcy. Because you've lost a lot. Because you thought you was a person of color. You thought you were part of the equation, black and brown. And brother, go on before I snap. I don't know, I don't hear the volume in there. I hope they can hear it. Anyway, if you can't hear the volume, this is the piece where you saw the ambulance.
Tonight. It's an offer some couldn't pass up. Free heroin, except minutes later, people are dropping to the ground, overdosing. The bad batch being passed off on the south side. Our Jermont Terry's on the story. Jermont, there are some that might be saying tonight, well, you get what you pay for. In this case, nothing.
Well, Brad, while these may be drug users, the fact remains, if this dealer knows what he's handing out is too powerful or lethal, police will go after him. And the fact is, in just a matter of a few days, Chicago police called to several overdoses connected to one pusher. The intersection of 79th and Halsted and Auburn Gresham has its problems. But what went down here Thursday morning, police say, is criminal.
They just got there just dropping like flies.
Philip Moore tells me as he walked to get coffee, he couldn't believe what he spotted.
It was very devastating. It was heartbreaking. Yes, sir, it was, because it was the first time I ever witnessed something like that.
This video is hard to watch. It shows 3 people overdosing on the streets at the same time. Chicago police say the overdoses are connected to one man passing out free heroin to users along 79th Street.
Because this right here, what happened on 79th and Halsted, man, it wasn't right.
And those overdoses continued Friday morning. This man was injuring himself as his body went into shock. Those in the neighborhood did more than just pull out their cell phones.
You're going to be all right, bro. The ambulance here, man. They're going to help you.
They jumped in to calm the man until paramedics arrived. All of this going down within the block of District 6 Police Station. And now detectives are trying to figure out if the person offering the free heroin is aware folks are overdosing.
If these people were distributing drugs with the intent that people would be killed, they could easily be charged with attempted murder.
CBS 2 legal analyst Irv Miller telling me the law allows police to go after the person no matter the intent.
It's not a typical charge. It doesn't happen all that often, but it does happen. People get charged, they get convicted, and they go to the penitentiary.
Thankfully, none of the people died from their overdoses, but the fear is if this person keeps passing out the bad batch, it could turn deadly.
Honestly, I just say, man, y'all brothers are wrong for doing that. Whoever doing it.
Now, I'm told that the person offering the free drugs wasn't really known to anyone in that neighborhood. Tonight, Chicago police asking anyone who might have information on who's behind pushing this bad batch to give them a call anonymously. Reporting live outside CPD headquarters tonight, Jermont Terry, CBS 2 News. Brad?
Jermont, thank you.
Once again, That's why LaShawn Ford put together the West Side High and Opioid Task Force. But we're going to move right along because I'm looking at the clock. Let's just move along, brother.
I thought I'd come on Facebook and give you an update as to what's happening here in Chicago, which is affecting all of America. I have told you before that the cannabis, marijuana, weed, whatever you want to call it, it's going to be legal in America worldwide, nationwide, in a month or so. I think it's going to happen before the election because Donald Trump could use, the press. He could use the hit with younger people. He can brag he's the one who did blah, 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 blah. If he loses, Joe Biden has already said that he will, he supports recreational marijuana nationwide as well. So it's going to happen. So what we do here in Chicago is going to determine what social equity applicants look like nationwide. Okay, so tell all your friends. I'm going to give the update. I'll give another one tomorrow, which is Tuesday, and then we are marching on Wednesday, marching and having a press conference and a protest outside of KPMG's office. They're in the Aon building, in the rich, high rent district off of Michigan Avenue. 200 East Randolph. And we want to look at asking them several things about the scoring mechanism. What instructions did they get from the state? What instructions? Did they get clear instructions as to what a social equity applicant is or who that is? When you read the law and the legislative intent, the intent was to spread it out and break up the monopolies of the big white male-owned companies. That was the intent. If you're going to legalize cannabis, let 700,000 black people out of jail, you're admitting that sending them to jail in the first place was wrong. So you're going to let them back out into the black neighborhood and the Latino neighborhood, black for the most part. Where they going to go? Where they going to live? Where they going to work? Are they going to come back to the hood? What is the hood going to look like? I have seen some neighborhoods, you all, that are all black neighborhoods that look great, that look wonderful. We can create that. We can recreate it. There have been neighborhoods that are devastating now that we can fix. But if we go with the okie-doke, which is a rigged lottery, which we currently face with, if we accept what the politicians want to give us and go along with what the black politicians ask us to go along with, those that are, because some are not, many are not, then we ain't going to get nothing. Power yields nothing without a demand. So I'm going to tell everything I know real fast. So tell people to come on. Hey, Michael, come on Facebook right now, because I'm telling you what's finna happen. And this is about billions of dollars. The company we're marching on this Wednesday made $30 billion last year. $30 billion. And maybe that's why some of the black groups that we're marching for and trying to help, scared to death, won't even send 1-2 people to the protest, don't want their name, don't want to sign a letter to the governor, don't want to throw the rock and hide their hand. But whichever way they want to do it is fine with me. I'm going to be up front in their face, because they need to know that this is real and that we are for real about it. Governor J.B. Pritzker said, and somebody just reminded me when this was coming out, we're going to make 75 new licenses, set them aside for social equity applicants, and make millionaires from people who live in the social equity communities, and because that money will stay in the community. Outsiders outside the west side and the south side and East St. Louis and black neighborhoods weren't supposed to be getting the applications in this round. Now we found one group of white guys, of course, who have 38 chances in this bullshit lottery. 38 chances, and they're in there twice. Each of them have 38 chances, so they have 76 chances to win 75 licenses. Think about that. Now they can only get 10. So what we're saying as a compromise to the governor is to make them take 66 of those extra chances out. If you can only win 10, why give them 66 damn chances? Right. It's rigged. Many of you play poker, play the numbers, play the horses, play the casino. How would you like 110% chance of winning every time you put your money up there on the crap table? You would love that, wouldn't you? 110% chance of winning. That's what will happen if the current lottery goes forward with this one company. We track them down, same people, same lawyer, same address, same everything. Of course, outside the city, rich people got 76 chances. So all the black people that's trying to tell us this is a good deal, if the blacks only have 3 or 4 chances and the white guy got 76 chances, who gonna make it? Under the current lottery crap they got set up, no African Americans, Latinos, or women might win because they have much fewer chances than the white companies. And half the black companies that made it squeeze their way into the lottery is in some kind of collusion, some little cannabis orgy with the rich white boys. And we got to call fronts out. We got to call them out. One guy, a Pakistani guy, is in there as a minority. He's hooked up with the former police chief who, it's just, and he works for KPMG. How can you work for the company that's grading the licenses and then apply and win 8-9 chances to win a cannabis business? It's so much wrong, y'all. I'd be here all day trying to tell you everything. But yes, there's lawsuits up. The lottery is held up till at least the 23rd. A judge has to rule on that federal case. The attorney there is doing a good job. There's several other cases out here. The Harris Law Group has a good case in the state court. So there are cases in the federal court, cases in the state court, and more about to be filed. On that note, we're about to file ours, so ours is not an all black or all Latino or all anything. We got a mixture because Illinois residents were also done wrong. All of them ain't black. I have no problem with a young startup white group or Latino group or women trying to get 1 or 2. That ain't our problem. Our problem is these big corporations that's trying to get every license. And there's never been a perfect score, everybody. Anywhere in America with all these cannabis companies currently exist, nobody got a perfect score. Why this perfect score bullshit? They created the perfect score in order to create the lottery situation. So they said to all those other applicants, 6,000, you didn't score a perfect score, so you out. It's the only reason you out. And you didn't score a perfect score because they took this, they took that, took a whole lot of little things off of your points. So you get the 250. You get the 252 because you get the 2 bonus points for a perfect score. I know people who got 249, 248, but they not good enough. We have people who lost the perfect score because they didn't give them the minority social equity points. They gave them the social equity points, but didn't give them points for being an Illinois resident. How you gonna get social equity points for living in the neighborhood and having your business in the neighborhood, but then they don't give you the points for being an Illinois resident? They give you the points for living on 79th and King Drive, but they don't give you the points for being an Illinois resident. It's bullshit. In my case, they said I got to prove again that I live on the west side, so I had to go find a light bill from 1990 something. It was rigged, y'all. So we're going to march on Wednesday, and people want to know what's next. We're going to do one day at a time. Hopefully we can work something out. I have proposed and sent in a trailer bill. We want the governor to create, a lot of our group agreed on this, another pool of licenses, because there's another pool supposed to come out in 2021. We don't want to wait till 2021. They could release that 110 that's set for 2021. They could release 75 of those right now and put them in a social equity only pile, making it very clear that these are only for social equity, and tighten up the meaning of what that means. So now you got 75 more licenses, the true social equity applicants can go for. I'm giving you this because we need people to support this. And those people who have 70 chances, tell them, Governor, that they got to get it down to 10 chances. They pick which 10 they want. That creates more opportunity. Because then now this guy don't have 78, he's had in the lottery 78 times, he's had in the lottery 10 times. Because you can get 10. You can't get more than 10, so why get them 100 chances to get their 10? So you're not putting them out, so you don't slow the whole thing all the way down, because many people in our allegiance don't want to slow it all the way down or just stop it completely. They want to fix it and give people the opportunity to participate, and I'm with that. So I'll come back on again tomorrow. Wednesday we're going to be at KPMG, 200 East Randolph, right off Michigan Avenue. And those 2,000-3,000 black people and 1,000 Latinos that applied, that was part of a license, got your $10,000, $15,000, $30,000 tied up, $5,000, $2,000, whatever it is, you need to have your ass down there. And if you can't make it because you're working a 9 to 5 or whatever, send your brother, your husband, your wife. It's a peaceful protest. We'll be out there a couple of hours. We don't want to tell them everything. We're going to try to deliver this letter to KPMG asking for our scores and other information we want to know. And we're going to let the world know, not just the governor or the legislature or the alderman or the commissioner. You should be calling every one of them on this one. Because if we can't get this, y'all, we'll never get reparations. Y'all need to just stop talking about it. Take reparations and put it away somewhere. We'll never get it. If we can't get this in the home of America's only black president, think about that. In a state that votes Democrat all the damn time, if we can't get this with all of our people locked up in jail for cannabis. My friend called me this morning. Her son got shot 7 times last night after attending a peace thing for the kids. Our lives is effed up. The black community is effed up. We ain't got a damn thing to lose. Because we ain't got nothing. That's why we crazy as hell. That's why our kids killing each other. We ain't got nothing. They feel like it ain't. That's why they go around and not. And please, y'all wear your mask. I got mine. Not wear their mask and everything. They say they don't care. Because we ain't got a damn thing. So grown folks, stand up for your kids if you won't stand up for yourself. Stand up for your grandkids if you won't stand up for yourself. We cannot lose this damn fight. And for those of you out there just hate me or just want harm to come to me, you have no power over me. My God is much stronger than anything you could throw my way. See y'all tomorrow.
Ain't nothing for me to say. Let's move on, brother. Well, while we're waiting for this piece to kick in,
new fuel to the claims that he is trying to tip the scales of the election by sabotaging efforts to vote by mail. He went on the record yesterday admitting that he opposes additional funding for the post office because it would help mail-in voting.
They want $3.5 billion for the mail-in votes, okay, universal mail-in ballots. $3.5 trillion. They want $25 billion for the post office. Now, they need that money in order to have the post office work so it can take all of these millions and millions of ballots. Now, in the meantime, they aren't getting there. By the way, those are just 2 items. But if they don't get those 2 items, that means you can't have universal mail-in voting because they're not equipped to have it.
If the post office, if they're not going to approve a bill, and the post office therefore won't have the money, and if they're not going to approve a bigger bill, and they're not going to have the $3.5 billion for the universal mail-in votes, how can you have those votes?
Why not put more resources and more money yourself? Find a way to do that to make sure there is a...
Well, they can do it very easily. All they have to do is make a deal. If they make a deal, the Postal Service is taken care of. The money they need for the mail-in ballots would be taken care of if we agree to it. That doesn't mean we're going to agree to it. But all they have to do is make a deal.
So Trump is ostensibly saying there that he's leveraging voting, vote by mail, but really voting because for many at-risk people, for many people, this is the only way they can safely vote in November. And we're going to be hit extremely badly in the fall. All scientific models predict that. So he's leveraging a fundamental core American right in negotiations with the Democrats. That's what he's saying he's doing. And on paper, sure, the funding for the USPS is part of the stimulus bill negotiations. But he's already started with these cuts to the Postal Service, and he appointed a massive Republican donor, Louis DeJoy, who's been making cuts to the agency for months at this point. So you can't in good faith say that what's happening now is a part of stimulus bill negotiations when behind the scenes the Trump administration has been trying to restrict vote by mail for months now. And Trump and his wife, I believe, Melania, are voting by mail. It just came out and reported yesterday. So behind the scenes they do this, and then they make it harder for the Postal Service to collect mail-in ballots. So he's really just cutting it and then waiting to face the consequences later and kicking the can down the road.
Well, bottom line is, you heard it. We're going to listen more about Trump because I want you to be clear. But then I want you to also hear Brother Mandela and Malcolm. And then I'm watching the clock. And I say that a lot because I'm programmed to the system and we be so tight on this clock. But anyway, all right, Omar.
On to our next questioner at the microphone over there, Mr. Welcome to America, Mr. Mandela. I'm Ken Edelman. Those of us who share your struggle for human rights and against apartheid have been somewhat disappointed by the models of human rights that you have held up since being released in jail. You've met over the last 6 months 3 times with Yasser Arafat, who you have praised. You have told Gaddafi that you share the view on, and applaud him on his record of human rights and his drive for freedom and peace around the world. And you have praised Fidel Castro as a leader of human rights and said that Cuba was one of the countries that's head and shoulders above all other countries in human rights, despite the fact that documents at the United Nations and elsewhere show that Cuba is one of the worst. I was just wondering, are these your models of leaders of human rights? And if so, would you want a Gaddafi or an Arafat or a Castro to be a future president of South Africa?
One of the mistakes which some political analysts make is to think that their enemies should be our enemies. That we can and we will never do. We have our own struggle which we are conducting. We are grateful to the world for supporting our struggle. But nevertheless, we are an independent organization with its own policy. And the attitude of every country towards, our attitude towards any country is determined by the attitude of that country to our struggle. Yasser Arafat, Colonel Gaddafi, Fidel Castro support our struggle to the hilt. There is no reason whatsoever why we should have any hesitation about hailing their commitment to human rights as they are being demanded in South Africa. Our attitude is based solely on the fact that they fully support the anti-apartheid struggle. They do not support it only in rhetoric. They are placing resources at our disposal for us to win the struggle. That is the position.
That is the position. Let's go on, brother. Now this piece here will be another piece on Trump.
To the beginning of the kind of programs Congress rolled out in response to the pandemic. The DOJ now has questions about how some of the PPP loans that were dispersed were used. Tell us about that.
Yeah, the Department of Justice had a press conference today and announced that since May, it has charged 57 people with PPP-related fraud. And these people are accused of trying to steal $175 million from the Paycheck Protection Program, this program that was designed to help small businesses stay afloat during the pandemic. And while $175 million sounds like a lot of money, it is a lot of money. We should note that the Small Business Administration did make about $525 billion in loans. Officials say that these people managed to steal about $70 million, and then the government was able to get about $30 million of that back. The DOJ does say more charges are likely coming. A team has been dedicated to looking at PPP-related fraud. They said they have opened several hundred cases, and they've found about 500 people they think may be involved in PPP-related fraud. People are allegedly faking documents, using stolen personal information, and lying about businesses in order to get this money. They say that there's really two categories of this fraud. There are coordinated criminal rings of people trying to access this money. They said one ring in particular went after $24 million from this program. Another is just individuals who are lying about businesses to try and get money they can spend on themselves. Let's watch.
These defendants used lies to obtain millions of dollars in PPP funds and then spent those funds not on their workers, but on things like luxury cars, homes, renovations, diamond jewelry, even adult entertainment, and trips to Las Vegas.
The work is not over. The DOJ says there is likely a significant amount of fraud ongoing. You may remember House Democrats on an oversight panel just a couple weeks ago found that there were billions of dollars worth of questionable PPP loans made, and they said that the program is at high risk of fraud. So this is something we'll definitely be keeping an eye on over the coming months, maybe the coming years.
Okay, speaks for itself. You know you're going to jail sooner or later, and maybe not. You got to come up. Maybe you can keep it.
My concern with black elected officials, though, is that most of them are married to the Democratic Party.
Yes.
As is the black community as a whole. And that's a problem because the Democratic Party is a white racist institution and it is just as racist as the Republican Party. So if you are married to the Democratic Party, that means you are a part of their agenda. You must be a team player. So if the best interests of the black community conflicts with the Democratic Party's agenda, you're obligated as a member of the team to carry out their agenda. And so I'm at a point in my life where I don't vote for black politicians unless they are independent candidates, because only if you're an independent candidate will you be an independent thinker. And if you're not an independent thinker, I can't give you my vote.
So you haven't voted in a long time.
Absolutely.
Long time. Do you think that we need like our own Tea Party sort of situation?
I don't think black people need a party, but we need a political union. In other words, we don't necessarily need to have a candidate for president, a candidate for vice president. We are not a numerical majority in this country. And as a result, even if we had a party, there's certain elections we would not win. Now, having your own party where we are the physical majority in a city could be beneficial. But nationally speaking, what we need is a union. Lock your votes together, meet with the Republican Party's candidate, the Democratic Party's candidate, see which of them are willing to give you the most for your vote, and you cast it in that direction. The problem today is black people are married to the Democrats, even before you hear the agenda. So they don't have to take you seriously because they know you will be there. It's like being in a relationship with a woman who you take advantage of. It doesn't matter how many times you step out on her. When you get home, you know she's going to be there. So Black America is the Democratic Party's cheap prostitute.
True that. We can move on.
There are many whites who are trying to solve the problem, but you never see them going under the label of liberals. That white person that you see calling himself a liberal is the most dangerous thing in the entire Western Hemisphere. He's the most deceitful. He's like a fox, and a fox is always more dangerous in the forest than the wolf. You can see the wolf coming. You know what he's up to, but the fox will fool you. He comes at you with his mouth shaped in such a way that even though you see his teeth, you think he's smiling. You take him for. There are many whites who are trying to solve the problem, but you never see them going under the label of liberals. That white person that you see calling himself a liberal is the most dangerous thing in the entire Western Hemisphere. He's the most deceitful. He's like a fox, and a fox is always more dangerous in the forest than the wolf. You can see the wolf coming. You know what he's up to, but the fox will fool you. He comes at you with his mouth shaped in such a way that even though you see his teeth, you think he's smiling. You take him for.
So I know some of y'all saying, what happened to speak on it? They ain't doing live like that. What they're doing is giving the opportunity for you to get your information out. So yes, we have had to make the adaptation and know this is not a live show. So the objective here is to speak on it. But as you can see, it's not just for me to speak on it. It's for those people that you might not have access to speak into your ear. Tell you like we tell people on the other milieu. My objective is to raise the voices of the living and the dead. That's what Speak On It is on. That's what Retro Current Team is on. That's what I am on. Raising the voices of the living and the dead. So until they tell me that my time is up on here, this is how we going. I'm going, thanks to Amari, you'll see this picture here. He's helping me understand how to sort of like have some diversity in the background. And he got a couple of beautiful pictures. We're going to start doing that because this is how I'm going to do it. We're going to speak on it, but it ain't going to be a whole lot of me speaking on it until I want to do commentary. I want you to listen to other people that you might not be willing to go on social media and see or hear or whatever. So I want to bring it to you. All right, Amari, let's go to the last piece.
Hey, Trump supporters, I know, you don't want to hear this from me. But if you can stand it, just take a minute to listen, please. Your president, the man to whom you have given your absolute devotion over the last 4 years, lied to you. In fact, Trump has been lying to all of us for practically this entire year about this virus that has killed nearly 200,000 of us and that's still killing Americans. He lied, and a lot of people died. Now, many of us who closely followed Trump's campaign and have taken a deep look at his history have figured out long ago that Trump was a liar and a fraud. We don't believe the stuff he says. If he tells us it's raining, we triple check before grabbing an umbrella. But you hang on to his every word. So let's just be clear. It was you that he lied to. And he didn't just lie. He acted on that lie. He's had you out there at his rallies without masks. He's had you demanding that kids go back to school, play high school and college football, when he knew since January that coronavirus could, and in nearly 200,000 cases, has killed people. Oh, and there are tapes. Not tapes of anonymous sources or disgruntled former staffers. Nope, tapes of Donald Trump. Because Donald Trump not only knew that he was lying about the virus, he bragged about it in a series of interviews with Washington Post journalist Bob Woodward. According to the Washington Post reporting on Woodward's new book, Rage, Trump was warned on January 28th by National Security Advisor Robert O'Brien, quote, "This will be the biggest national security threat you face in your presidency." And 10 days later, Trump called Bob Woodward on February 7th and admitted it.
It's a very tricky situation.
Indeed,
it goes through air, Bob. That's always tougher than the touch. You know, the touch, you don't have to touch things, right? But the air, you just breathe the air, and that's how it's passed. And so that's a very tricky one. That's a very delicate one. It's also more deadly than your strenuous flus. This is deadly stuff.
Oh, really? Well, and then over the next several weeks, Trump argued exactly the opposite, that coronavirus wasn't worse than the flu. Oh, no way. All that risk talk was just another Democrat hoax. He minimized how dangerous this global pandemic would be in America.
But we have it so well under control. I mean, we really have done a very good job. It's a little like the regular flu that we have flu shots for. And we'll essentially have a flu shot for this in a fairly quick manner. This is a flu. This is like a flu. It's going to disappear. One day it's like a miracle. It will disappear.
Almost everybody that we see is getting better. And it could be everybody, too.
I said calm. You have to be calm. It'll go away. We're prepared, and we're doing a great job with it, and it will go away. Just stay calm. It will go away. But everybody has to be vigilant and has to be careful. But be calm.
He knew that wasn't true. And then later in March, Trump spoke to Woodward again and said the one true thing that he's managed to spit out about the virus in 9 months, that he was deliberately playing it down, that he deliberately minimized the dangers of COVID.
Now it's turning out it's not just old people, Bob, which is today and yesterday some startling facts came out. It's not just older
exactly.
young people, to plenty of young people.
You went through a pivot on this to, oh my God, the gravity is almost inexplicable and unexplainable.
Well, I think, Bob, really, to be honest with you...
Sure, I want you to be.
I wanted to always play it down. I still like playing it down.
Yes,
because I don't want to create a panic.
Wow. Now, of course, I must note that we don't know what came before or after each of these recordings. And, of course, today did the usual and called the book a political hit job, saying he didn't want to create panic. But to reiterate, under that quote-unquote leadership, people's lives have been ruined all over this country, many of them people who voted for Donald Trump. More than 191,000 Americans are dead due to the virus. More than 6.3 million Americans have been infected, and more than 13 million Americans are unemployed. 8 months after he knew this virus was airborne and could kill a lot of people, Trump is still actively gathering people at rallies. And let's just be clear, these are solely for his own need to feel adulation. And he's putting his own superfans' lives at risk, including at the White House. Honestly, why would anyone do that? Why would any president? And why should anyone believe anything that he says now?
Well, next week, Lord willing and can be allowed, we'll look at something about Biden that will show another side of him. And I think that's important, that we see the side of both of them. Like I said earlier, this is not about neither one of them. Yeah, I'm going to vote. Got to vote. But everybody needs to vote. And that's why I'm presenting information from both sides, so we can have a feel of what we're doing. Because I'm like Dr. Omar Justin and Malcolm X. I know what they are. They're the same. And the same is not good enough. But we have gotten ourselves in a situation now that it is what it is. A throwback, and then Trump. Absolutely no difference. Oh, well, Trump probably looking a little more suave than the other one. Trump don't just look like a racist. But Biden, I told you before, Biden is one of the most southern types, although he might have not been in Mississippi or Texas. But I can see him on a horse with that spitting stick in his jaw, with the tobacco and spitting it with a whip on the other hand. That's what he looked like, and that's what he is. And when he get in there, he gonna show you that. But go vote for him anyway, if that's what you gotta do. Because Trump done showed you what he gonna do. So either way you go, just go. Brother, how much time we got? We ain't got enough time, y'all, to continue. We're gonna call it a day. Thanks for being with us. Alafia, peace, and good health.